Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today's video will be my TV and movie wrap up for November and December. I watched a total of 6 things in the last 2 months. I watched 5 movies and 1 TV show. I thought I was going to watch a lot more in the last 2 months of the year, but I just didn't for some reason. I think I wasn't really in the mood to watch or read anything. And now that I'm thinking about it, I only watched 5 things that I mentioned in my TV shows and movies to watch in 2022. I didn't complete a lot of the list, and I just realized that those kinds of lists don't really work for me because I never fully complete them, like ever. I don't think I've ever done that in my entire life, so I'm no longer doing stuff like that, but I still have movies and TV shows that I would like to watch in the year, but I'm not gonna stick to a list because I feel like it adds too much pressure and then I just end up not doing it. But these were all the last things that I watched before the end of 2022. So I'm going to go through all the movies first, and then I will go through the TV show last. So the first movie I watched was After Ever Happy. This was a rewatch for me. The first time I watched it, I gave it 4 stars, and upon this rewatch, I stuck with a 4-star rating. I rewatched this with my friends because we were rewatching all the other movies, and my friends had yet to see this one, so we finally watched it. I still really enjoy this movie. It's just very sad and depressing. It's not a movie in this franchise that I would rewatch over and over again. However, it is good enough that I would rewatch it over and over again. It feels like a very long movie without it being very long. I feel like they really did a good job with the pacing, and the acting was definitely an improvement from all the other movies. The storyline and story itself just made more sense in this one. Yeah, I just wish there was a little bit more happy, cute moments, but overall I still really enjoyed this movie. I don't want to talk about the teaser for the 5th movie. I'm starting to care less and less about this franchise, which really sucks. It becomes more clear every day and every time a new movie in this franchise comes out how much they do not care about their female lead, that they do not care about female voices, that they also just do not care about the actual fans of this franchise. They just care about money, and they think that people just go to these movies just to see Hero and Hardin, but that is not true. I think a majority of us just care about Hessa, and we want their story, and we also understand that Tessa went through things as well. Like, she has a whole story about grief, and I feel like that was barely touched. I just am very frustrated with this franchise. I mean, obviously the teaser was very short, but the fact that we saw no Tessa in it is very weird, considering this story started with Tessa. Like, this originally was Tessa's story. But anyways, I enjoyed this 4th movie, and I can definitely see myself rewatching it more in the future. The next 3 movies I actually made a whole video on. So I watched Gabriel's Rapture Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3. If you want to know all of my thoughts in great detail, I highly recommend watching my video, which I will link down below. But for Gabriel's Rapture Part 1, I gave it 3.5 out of 5 stars. Overall, I enjoyed this first part. It was a little boring and it kind of dragged, but the book was like that in the beginning as well. So it kind of makes sense that I would feel the same about Part 1 because that was like the beginning of the book. But Part 1 was still good. I liked the acting and the sets and just, you know, the overall movie I enjoyed. Then Gabriel's Rapture Part 2, I gave 4 out of 5 stars. This one was definitely a little bit better. It had a little bit more plot going on, so there was a little bit more happening and it was a little bit more entertaining. But again, all of the acting was pretty good. The sex scenes were all right. The dialogue still had some iffy moments, but I did enjoy Part 2 more than Part 1. And then Gabriel's Rapture Part 3, I gave 4 out of 5 stars. I'm not sure which part I like more, Part 2 or Part 3. I feel like they're kind of equal for me. I guess I can't really say what the scenes are because I don't want to spoil anything, but all of the very sentimental, emotional scenes I really liked. There's so many beautiful scenery shots in these movies, which I loved. And again, the acting, the sets, and just overall movie, I feel like part 2 and part 3 definitely were stronger than part 1, and I overall enjoyed this little trilogy. As of right now, I think I like Gabriel's Rapture, the movies, more than Gabriel's Inferno's movies, but I like Gabriel's Inferno, the book, more than Gabriel's Rapture, the book. But I'm very excited for Gabriel's Redemption. I hope that that's my favorite out of all of them, because that is my favorite book. Aside from maybe the 4th book, I really do like Gabriel's Promise, but I really enjoyed Gabriel's Redemption, so I cannot wait for the movie. Oh, I guess I never really explained what Gabriel's Rapture is about, but it is technically the second trilogy in this series of trilogies. So you technically have to watch Gabriel's Infernos and those movies before watching these movies, but essentially just follows Gabriel, who is a professor, and Julia, who is his student, and they embark on this secret relationship, but they kind of have a very complicated and interesting past. And then the last movie that I watched was Frozen, which I gave a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I watched this with my friends. They have all seen it before and I had never watched it, so they convinced me to watch it, and I actually really enjoyed it. I didn't even really know the storyline or like what the movie was about, to be honest. I just knew the song and that's kind of it. It was really cute and fun, and I liked all of the characters. I liked all the animation, and I thought all the voice actors did a really good job. I will say the thing I didn't really love was the music. I did find it annoying and just kind of repetitive. I did love the bond between Anna and Elsa and how this was about sisters and siblings. I liked the little romance between Anna and Kristoff. I thought that was very cute, kind of like Grumpy Sunshine. But yeah, overall it was a very cute, heartwarming movie, and I could definitely see myself rewatching this on a very cold and snowy day. And the last thing that I watched was a TV show, and that was Tell Me Lies. This I gave a solid 4 out of 5 stars. So IMDb just has this as a summary: the story of a young woman's obsession with a man who is good at being charming. This is actually an adaptation of the book by Carola Lovering, which I have not read, but I've heard that the book and the TV show are very, very different, which I might actually try to read the book. I'm kind of curious about it, so we'll see how I feel about it. But I really, really enjoyed this TV show. It was very addicting and very dramatic and messy and toxic. All of the actors were really, really good, specifically the actors who played Lucy and Steven. I thought they did a really good job, and they had insane chemistry, and I believe they're dating in real life, which is kind of cool. I like that. The scenes where they argued, it felt so natural and real, and I was just like, wow, this is great. Like, I love their acting together. There's kind of like this mystery throughout the show, which I enjoyed, and it kind of keeps you on the edge of your seat because you're like, what really happened that night? Like, what really happened to that person? Everybody had secrets in this show. They all kept it from each other, and everybody was like hooking up with everybody. It was very, very messy. Steven was such an interesting character. I really liked the way that he was written, but also the choice that the actor made for him. You never really know if he's fully telling the truth. Like, he has this way of trying to ease you, but you can't tell if he's lying or not. He also has this way of manipulating people and messing with people, which you see later on is the outcome of how he was brought up, which I liked that kind of backstory and you connecting the dots to be like, oh, that is why he is the way he is. I like how we actually got like flashbacks and revelations from certain characters, because I never could believe any character until I actually saw what happened. Lucy was also a very fascinating character, but I feel like she kind of fell flat for me a little bit at some moments, especially when she thought she could ruin somebody, where she was like, oh, I know all these secrets, like I could really hurt this person, but yet she never really acted on that. But maybe that's something we'll see in season 2 because it was renewed, which I'm very, very happy about because I cannot wait to see what happens next. Also, that ending, oh my God, I sat there in shock for like a good 5 minutes over the ending. I could not believe that reveal. I was like, oh my God, like what happened in those, I think it was like 5 years or something. I am so curious to see what happened in those 4 years after college because it seemed like a lot of them were still very close and still like best friends. And then it seemed like some of them didn't talk at all. So I feel like there was more that happened that summer after college and then in those 4 years. I'm still so shocked at that ending. I was just like, I felt betrayed. I was like, what? I'm actually very curious about the book. So I'm probably going to buy that and maybe read that soon because I want to see how different it is. And I want to see if they followed anything from the book. I don't think they did, but I need to know for myself. But overall, I really enjoyed this show and I cannot wait for season 2. They need to do it like ASAP because I need to know what happens. So those are all the TV shows and movies that I watched in the last 2 months of 2022. Let me know what you watched recently and let me know what is the last TV show or movie that you watched in 2022. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to give this video a like, subscribe, follow me on all my other social media, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.